Hi everyone, my name is Amy Glenn and I'm an educator here at Glencairn Museum. This museum was originally a family home to Raymond and Mildred Pitcairn and their 9 children. And today we are here in Glencairn's Greek Gallery, which actually used to be a bedroom for one of the Pitcairn children. And in the 1980s, it was converted to put on display the Greek collection that we see here today. So today, the country of Greece includes a mainland and some islands. But the ancient Greeks lived all around the Mediterranean Sea. This gallery that we're in today has art from ancient Greece. Some of the objects in here are over 2,500 years old. At that time of ancient Greece, the country was made up of city-states. This means that there wasn't one central government for the whole area, but that each city had its own government and ruled themselves with their own laws and festivals. But despite that, all the ancient Greeks considered themselves to be Greek because of 2 things. I wonder if you can think of what those 2 things might be. The first is that they all spoke the same language, Greek. And the second is that they all believed in the same gods and goddesses. Now, there were many gods and goddesses in ancient Greek culture. You actually might know a few. Let's see what you know. Here we have a god who carries a trident. This is the god Poseidon, king of the seas. Here we have a goddess who wears a helmet and carries a shield. Do you think you know who she is? This is the goddess Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom. How about this one? This is a god sitting on a throne. This was Zeus, king of all the gods and goddesses on Mount Olympus. Now there are many more gods and goddesses, and I wonder if you know a few more than the ones we just looked at today. Now, although each Greek person was free to make up their own mind regarding their own personal beliefs in the gods, everybody understood how important it was to have a good relationship with the gods and goddesses, and to make sure that you honored and pleased them regularly, so that your life here on earth was good. The Greeks believed that gods could influence each person's misfortune or good fortune. And so, to keep them happy, it was important to give them gifts and offerings as often as you could. Offerings came in many different forms. One of the kinds of offerings we can see here in this case behind me with this shallow dish. I have a replica of this dish here. This is called a libation bowl and would have been used to offer liquids like milk, honey, and oil at the temple. The liquid would have been poured into the bowl and then poured out at the temple. Another type of offering we can see on this vase behind me in the case. This is called an amphora. And if you look closely at what we can see painted on the vase, we can see a scene of a woman leading a bull. Now, some scholars think that this shows the woman leading the bull to be sacrificed. Animal sacrifice was a very common offering to the gods and goddesses of ancient Greece. Greeks would come together as a community and offer sacrifice of animals as a whole group. This would have been done by a priest as a religious ritual, and then afterwards, everybody would have had a feast together. Can you think of any large feasts or celebrations that we have today? You might think of the beginning and end of Passover for the Jewish community, or maybe the end of the fasting month of Ramadan for the Muslim community, or maybe even Christmas that a lot of Christians celebrate. These feasts bring people together to celebrate in groups, often around a religious ritual. Now, sometimes in ancient Greece, the person making the offering would offer an image of themselves if they were asking for something specific to them. We have some examples of these offerings behind me in this case, and a beautiful large veiled woman's head that could have been part of a statue of an offering. These objects that we've looked at, the libation bowl, the vase, and the images of people themselves, were all offerings that people might have brought to a sacred area to give to the gods and goddesses, based on their personal needs and their life, what they needed right then. Many people would have been making and buying these, since offerings were a regular ritual in ancient Greece. Can you imagine how many hundreds, maybe even thousands of these objects would build up over time as people brought them? Over a week, a month, or even a year? There would be so many that they would eventually have to get cleared away to make room for even more. Archaeologists have found sites where piles and piles of offerings were brought so that more room could be made at the temple for people to bring new ones. By looking at examples of these offerings, we can start to understand just how much the ancient Greeks valued their relationship with the gods and goddesses to make sure that their lives on earth were good. Thanks for joining us today. We hope to see you soon to learn more about the ancient cultures at Glencairn Museum.